Okay, I got a question for you. The 2010 Lakers versus the 2020 Lakers. Who's the better team? I get it. We're early into the season. But based on player personnel, based on just the first 11, 12 games of the season, I think that this 2020 Laker team, I think they're making a very, very strong case to why they're actually better than that 2010 team. So in this journey, I'm going to be breaking down why I think the 2020 Lakers potentially could be better than the 2010 squad. Let's go. Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, this journey, I'm going to be breaking down the 2010 Lakers and comparing them to the 2020 squad. Listen, this Laker team this year, it's early. We're 11 games into the season. And through 11 games, this squad is standing at 9-2, number one seed in the West. Looking real good. Looking real good. But how do they compare to that 2010 team? Let's go back and think about that squad. That was the last time the Lakers ever won a championship. That was the team that won back-to-back championships. That was the squad that beat the Boston Celtics in an epic 7-game series. Listen, I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. There's no question about that. And to me, this was one of his biggest and best performances, despite him not really having, really efficient offensive explosion. Kobe's determination led this squad. It was ingrained. This team was ingrained in his mentality. It was a tough, hard-nosed, defensive-minded squad. That Laker team started the season out through their first 11 games. They were 8-3. Compare that to this year's squad, 9-2. That Laker team also through the first 20 games had a 17-3 record. 17-3. They finished the season that year 57-25 with the number one seed going into the playoffs. Listen, Kobe Bryant, he was the leader of that team, but by no means did he carry that team by himself. You had all-star big man, one of the best skilled passing big men in the game, in the history of the game, in Pau Gasol. And that duo, that chemistry that they had, it was undeniable. They were able to look at each other and just with body language to be able to be on the same page. And that didn't just happen overnight. You gotta remember, Gasol got there in 2008, mid-season 2008, and they went to 3 straight finals. So by 2010, this was a well-oiled machine. It featured Lamar Odom as the sixth man on that squad, who eventually a couple years later wound up winning the Sixth Man of the Year award. They had a big defensive big man in Andrew Bonner down low, who was able to start at center to kind of allow Odom to come off the bench to give them a different look. And then they had Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest. Now you gotta remind you, we're talking about the 2010 squad, not the 2009 championship team. So Trevor Ariza was gone to Houston, and Artest had just come over from Houston to the Lakers. So then you have Derek Fisher at that one, the rock solid, one of the leaders of that squad, a legit 3-and-D from that point guard position. And the bench was filled with guys like Shannon Brown, Jordan Farmar, Sasha Vujacic, Luke Walton. So this team was deep. They had about, I think, 7 guys on that team that was giving you 8+ points a game. They had 3 guys that averaged 8+ rebounds a game. So this team right here was big. They were defensive, led by, in my opinion, the greatest coach of all time, Phil Jackson. And they were one of the best offense and defensive teams in the league. That year, the Lakers went on to lead the league as far as being the number 4 team in defense, while also being the number 11 team in offense. Now, the significance of those 2 rankings, check this out. Every single champion for the last 15 years, everyone, you go back from Toronto, the Golden State Warriors, the Cavs, the Mavs, anyone, the last 15 years, every team has been a top 11 ranking in the offense and defense, and they won a championship. Every team. The Lakers that year were 4th in defense and 1st in offense. Now I'm saying all this to kind of lay the groundwork and the framework for what this year's 2020 Laker team has to compete against if I'm going to make the claim that they're better than that squad. And once again, we're 11 games into this thing, so I get that. But let's look at this team. Let's really break down how this team stacks up against that team. Once again, as I said, through the first 11 games, they were already off to a better start at 9-2. Through the first 20 games, are they going to be able to match or exceed that record that the 2010 squad had, which was 17-3? I think based on their schedule, they got a really, really good chance to be 17-3 or possibly 18-2. They could run the gauntlet. Now, somewhat of an easier schedule to kind of start out, but the first part of their schedule, at the Clippers, at the Dallas Mavs, at the San Antonio Spurs, at the Phoenix Suns, against Miami, against Toronto. So the Lakers haven't had a cakewalk schedule to start the season. And one of the things that has truly separated them from others in the league now is their defense. This defense that the Lakers are playing, it's up there. I mean, it's as good as it gets, bar none. Number one in the league in defense. And it's not just about being number one in defensive efficiency. This team is number one in the entire league in shot blocks. This team is number one in the entire league in point differential. This team is out here putting in work. They're number 3 in the league in points, in opponents' points per game. Number 4 in the league in opponents' field goal percentage, as well as number 4 in the league in opponents' 3-point percentage. This team is defending at an historic level right now. Yes, we're 11 games into this thing. But imagine as we try to project the rest of the season. Granted, some of these numbers are going to change. Will the Lakers remain the best defensive team in the league? Who knows? The Clippers, everybody's been talking about, are supposed to be this historic defensive team, but it's been the Lakers who've been that historic defensive team. So how is this team going to continue to mesh? Well, let's look at the roster. The way that this team was constructed, it's the only team, no team has ever had more all-NBA defenders on it ever. I think the 1984 Boston Celtics was the only other team that matched the amount of all defensive performance that the Lakers have, with 6. You're talking about Anthony Davis, who's led the league in shot blocks 3 different occasions. You're talking about a guy like LeBronjames, who's had multiple all-defensive awards. You're talking about Dwight Howard, who's been a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. You're talking about guys like Danny Green, who's made an all-defense, Avery Bradley, and Rajon Rondo. That's 6 guys on this roster that have made an all-defensive team. So it should be no accident that the Lakers are the best defensive team in the league. They're also, look at the coaching staff. You've got Frank Vogel, who had 2 back-to-back teams that were first in all defense. First, the best team in defense. Lionel Hollins, we know the defensive pedigree that he brings. Jason Kidd as well. So you're bringing a defense from everywhere, the minds out there, the execution, the play, we're seeing it. Not only are they legit on defense, offense, they're not bad. And I think the offense will continue to get better. The Lakers rank number 1 in the NBA in field goal percentage. They're getting a lot of points, a lot of easy baskets, a lot of points in the paint, which is to their advantage. They're number 1 in points in the paint, and they're number 2 in the NBA in assists. When you're putting up that kind of numbers with that type of efficiency, it's no wonder why they are ranked number 11, just like that 2010 squad, in offensive efficiency. So this Lakers team is a little bit different from that team. They kind of match up similarly, but it's a little different. Let's go ahead, let's run down the player by player, this team versus that squad, and I'm gonna show you exactly why I think this team stacks up a little bit better than that one. That 2010 Laker team, they were roughly about 8 deep, right? You had Kobe, Gasol, Odom, Bynum, Fisher, Artest. You had Shannon Brown, Jordan Farmar. Those were like the top 8 guys that 2010 squad that they rolled out there consistently. 8 guys that averaged 10 plus minutes a game. This Laker team, man, it's on a whole nother level. The depth that this squad has, they've got 11 guys that are giving you 10 plus minutes a game. And that's not even including Rajon Rondo, who just came back and really only played 1 game. So I'm not even going to include him. That's still 11 guys averaging 10 plus minutes. That Laker team had 5 guys that averaged 30 plus, and this Laker team only has 2 guys averaging 30 plus, which shows the balance. It shows the balance. This Laker squad has 8 guys that are giving you 6 plus points a game, and 3 guys giving you 7.8 rebounds or more a game. So I'm seeing a lot of similarities, right? Quality depth, quality big men. Let's start it from the top. You got Kobe versus LeBron. That's your best player on each team on the perimeter. That secondary player is the inside guy, the big man, Paul Gasol, Anthony Davis. I look at that 6-man role where you got Lamar Odom and Kyle Kuzma, right? Then you got that big man. You've got Dwight Howard. You've got Andrew Bynum. You see the similarities between these two squads. Look at that veteran, high IQ, that 3-and-D kind of point guard. Derek Fisher, Rajon Rondo, right? You got the bench guys who are able to come in and give you a lot of perimeter help. A guy like Shannon Brown, Avery Bradley kind of reminds me of that. You got guys like Quinn Cook, KCP, which remind me of guys like Jordan Farmar and Sasha Vujicic. There's a lot of similarities. Now, as you saw, I just ran down how this Lakers team can kind of stack up against that Lakers team as far as the roles, right? The similar roles, right? Some of the similar talents. Then you got a guy like JaVale McGee, who I didn't even mention, who starts for the Lakers, right? JaVale McGee, who just last game had 18 points, 17 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 blocks. And granted, he's not going to do that every night, but that's an added big man. When you got Davis, you've got McGee, Dwight Howard, Kuzma. This Lakers team has the potential to be very special. Very special. And I think because the way that the game is being played now, we're so positionless, I think this actually favors the 2020 squad even more so than that 2010 squad. The 2010, it was a lot of guys were kind of set into their roles, set into their positions. And what I mean by that is the best player was Kobe Bryant, who was going to be your leading scorer, right? Your best player, Kobe, didn't have to guard the other team's best player, right? Even though he was still elite defensively, he didn't have to guard the other team's best player because you had a guy like Ron Artest. Oh, and here's the guy I forgot that kind of matches up with Ron Artest is the Danny Green role. So the point is, this Lakers team, the versatility where your best player, LeBron, doesn't have to be your best scorer. That's your secondary or your second best player in Anthony Davis. Whereas you see LeBron James leading the league in assists. Think about that. You got two guys. Your two top players are leading the league in respective categories. LeBron leading the league in assists with 11 a game. Anthony Davis leading the league in blocks with 3 a game. That duo, this LeBron Anthony Davis duo, in my opinion, is better than that Kobe and Gasol duo. From a talent standpoint. Now, granted, everything I'm saying, this Lakers team this year has to, number one, stay healthy. Number one. And number two, they got to win that chip. Everything else I'm saying goes out the window if they don't win that chip. But I don't see any reason why this team won't win the chip if they stay healthy. Golden State Warriors last year should have won the chip and would have won it had they been healthy. I think I could say the same for this Lakers team. There's no weaknesses on this squad. And I'm going to be honest with you. From all the reports that I'm hearing, if the Lakers get Andre Iguodala, that just takes them to a whole nother level. But even without him, based on what you have right now, I don't see why this team wouldn't win the chip. Now, the experience factor that I love that this Lakers team has, which was kind of similar to that 2010 squad, you've got guys that have multiple guys that have won championships. Rondo, Green, McGee, Cook, LeBron. You got 5-6 guys that have won championships that are on your roster. That matters. See, last year that Lakers team, the 2019 squad, even though you had LeBron and you had Rondo and you had some other veterans, it was too much youth. You relied too much on guys that never been there, had no true understanding of what their roles were. This team is full of veterans that knows their role. Even a young guy like Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma understands my role is when I come in, shoot it. If I'm open, shoot it. If I can get to the basket, score. That's my role, score. And he has no problem in putting up a shot as soon as he catches it. And that's what his role is. Lamar Odom's role when he came off that bench as the 6th man for that 2010 squad was to come in and to kind of be a utility guy. To kind of do what was needed based on the roster that was out there. Sometimes he's got to be more of a facilitator. He's basically like a 6'10" point forward. So he had to kind of maybe run that triangle offense and bring the ball up sometimes and kind of more of a facilitator role. Sometimes he had to be aggressive, put his head down to get to the basket. Whether it was grabbing the rebound and pushing it to full court, or grabbing the rebound and kicking it out, he had to do multiple things. Kuzma has one role: score. I'm liking what I'm seeing from this Laker team, man. I think that the potential for this squad is through the roof. Because you've got guys that have won and won in their roles. Rondo was never a superstar on that championship team that he won. He was a starting point guard. He was a young, up-and-coming guy, but he was a role-playing point guard that set up others. That's what his job is now, and he's doing that as the backup point guard. You got to think about what teams try to match up with this Lakers team, and I keep hearing people say, the Lakers aren't deep enough. I'm hearing people on ESPN that are telling me the Lakers don't have depth. When you've got Rajon Rondo coming off your bench, Kyle Kuzma, Dwight Howard, when these three guys are coming off your bench, I mean, I don't understand what the lack of depth is. We got guys at the bottom of the bench like KCP and Quinn Cook and Jared Dudley and Troy Daniels and Alex Caruso. The depth is there. The talent is there. The experience is there. So now it's all about chemistry and continuity. And here's the key. As the season goes on, that's only going to get better. So yes, the Lakers are about to get into a tough part of their schedule, especially when December the 1st hits. That whole month of December, we're going to really see what this Laker team is about. But from what I've seen through the first 11, they're going to be ready because they're going to be better then than they are now. They're starting to finally get a little bit healthier. Even though the last game, Rondo was out, AD was out. I think that was more precautionary for these guys. Unfortunately, we just got news that broke today that Avery Bradley has got like a hairline fracture in his leg, so he's going to miss a couple of weeks. But luckily, at this point of the schedule, and due to the depth that the Lakers have, I think they'll be able to manage that. So this Lakers squad, as they continue to move forward, continue to rack up wins. They play tonight against the Sacramento Kings. I don't know if De'Aaron Fox is going to be playing, but I know Marvin Bagley's out. This is a win the Lakers need to get, and if they get it, you move to 10-2. You've got the best record in the West, the best point differential in the entire NBA, and though it's early, I don't see this success slowing down anytime soon. I'm just not seeing how this can't be a 57-win team. I went back and looked it up. Over the last 20 champions, the last 20 seasons, if you want to win a championship, you at least need to win a minimum of 52 games, number one. Number two, you got to be at least a 3 seed. No team has won a championship being less than a 3 seed. So what that basically means is home court advantage matters. It matters. So for the people who want to tell me, in regard to the Clippers, that, it doesn't save Kawhi Leonard for the playoffs. The regular season doesn't matter. It actually does. Right now, I think they're in 7th or 8th seed, and like I said, that'll change. They are a top 4 team. But because there are 5 legitimate teams in the West, I feel the Lakers, the Clippers, the Rockets, the Nuggets, and the Jazz. Out of those 5 teams, that means that 2 of those 5 are going to be playing against each other in the first round, meaning one of those teams is going home in the first round. One of those 5 legit teams is going home in the first round. So seeding is going to be very important for this Laker team. Once again, you want to be one of those top 3 seeds, and realistically, you want to be a top 2 seed because you want to get as many home court advantage scenarios in your benefit. You don't want to be playing on the road series after series after series. Not saying you can't win a championship that way, because you can as a 3rd seed. But you don't want to be in that position. So the Lakers need to continue to rack up wins. Get them. Storm them away. Because the harder part of the season is coming. But I think as that chemistry continues to build, as Anthony Davis and LeBron James, who still, to me, they still are not really where they're going to be as far as a 1-2 punch. I'm still seeing games where, the timing's just a little bit off, right? The kind of subtle gestures to roll back door, cut back door, spin. A lot of that's still a little work in progress. That's only going to improve. I saw when Rondo came in the game, because he had played with Anthony Davis before, I saw that chemistry immediately. Immediately, Davis was on the block. Rondo is up top, and it was just a non-verbal communication for him to go. He went, and it was the ball was passed right on time. That chemistry between LeBron and Davis, we've seen glimpses of it. I think we're going to see more of it. So that duo is only going to get better. And Kyle Kuzma, who's still working his way back, as you've seen over the last 2 games, averaging 22.5 points, he's only going to get better in shape, get his legs under him. His shots are going to start falling and becoming more efficient. He's going to be that third option for the Lakers. A legitimate third option that I think can give you 16 to 18 points a game. This Lakers team is special, man. This Lakers team is special. So go down to the comment section and let me know. Let me know who you think would win in a 7-game series, the 2010 Lakers or the 2020 version. Go down to the comment section and not only let me know who you think will win in a head-to-head series matchup between them, but just overall, who's the better team? On paper, who's the better squad? Listen, as always, I appreciate you for taking a look at this video. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and also tap that notification bell so that you'll get an update anytime I drop new videos, which is every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.